Dear viewers, this video is part 1 of the 4-part series on the WBCs, that is white blood cells, granulocytes, in the Medicine for Anyone in the YouTube channel. WBCs, that is white blood cells, among which the granulocytes are discussed here. Our bodies are exposed continually to bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites, all of which occur normally and to varying degrees in the skin, mouth, respiratory passageways, intestinal tract, lining membranes of the eyes, and even the urinary tract. Many of these infectious agents are capable of causing serious abnormal physiological function or even death if they invade deeper tissues. We are also exposed intermittently to other highly infectious bacteria and viruses besides those that are normally present, and these agents can cause acute lethal diseases such as pneumonia, streptococcal infection, and typhoid fever. Our bodies have a special system for combating the different infectious and toxic agents. This system is composed of blood leukocytes, that is white blood cells or WBCs, and tissue cells derived from leukocytes. These cells work together in two ways to prevent disease. One, by actually destroying invading bacteria or viruses by phagocytosis, and two, by forming antibodies and sensitized lymphocytes that may destroy or inactivate the invader. Dear listeners, by the way, this educational video is made possible by Prescribon, the makers of e-prescription software for digital prescriptions available freely for doctors on the website www.prescribon.com. Doctors who are interested in this e-prescription can freely avail of its vast collection of more than 100,000 e-prescriptions. Leukocytes, that is white blood cells, WBCs. The leukocytes, also called white blood cells, are the mobile units of the body's protective system. They are formed partially in the bone marrow, that is granulocytes and monocytes, and a few lymphocytes, and partially in the lymph tissue, lymphocytes and plasma cells. After formation, they are transported in the blood to different parts of the body where they are needed. The real value of WBCs is that most of them are specifically transported to areas of serious infection and inflammation, thereby providing a rapid and potent defense against infectious agents. The granulocytes and monocytes have a special ability to seek out and destroy a foreign invader. General characteristics of leukocytes. Types of white blood cells. There are 6 types of WBCs normally present in the blood. Neutrophils, another name is polymorphonuclear leukocytes. Eosinophils, they are also polymorphonuclear. And basophils, they are also polymorphonuclear. They are all granulocytes. And monocytes, lymphocytes, and occasionally plasma cells. In addition, there are large numbers of platelets, which are fragments of another type of cell similar to the WBCs found in the bone marrow, known as the megakaryocyte. See the figure Genesis of white blood cells. This figure shows the myeloblast, which gives rise to promyelocyte, myelocytes, metamyelocytes, and the mature neutrophil, eosinophil, and basophils, and monocytes. The lymphoblasts on the right gives rise to the lymphocytes. See figure Genesis of white blood cells again. The first 3 types of cells, the polymorphonuclear cells, that is neutrophils, eosinophils, and basophils, all have a granular appearance and for this reason they are called granulocytes. The granulocytes and monocytes protect the body against invading organisms by ingesting them, a process known as phagocytosis, or by releasing antimicrobial or inflammatory substances that have multiple effects that aid in destroying the offending organism. The lymphocytes and plasma cells function mainly in connection with the immune system. Finally, the function of platelets is specifically to activate the blood clotting mechanism. Concentrations of different white blood cells in blood. An adult human has about 7,000 WBCs, white blood cells, per microliter of blood in comparison with 5 million red blood cells, that is RBCs, per microliter. Of the total WBCs, the normal percentages of the different types are approximately the following: neutrophils 62%, eosinophils 2%, basophils 0.4%, monocytes 5%, lymphocytes 30%. The number of platelets, which are only cell fragments, in each microliter of blood is normally between 150,000 and 450,000, averaging about 300,000 per microliter. Genesis of white blood cells. See the figure shown earlier again. Early differentiation of the multipotential hematopoietic stem cell into the different types of committed stem cells was shown in the figure formation of blood cells in bone marrow while discussing red blood cells. Aside from the cells committed to form RBCs, two major lineages of WBCs are formed: the myelocyte and lymphocytic lineages. See the figure shown earlier. The left side of figure shows the myelocyte lineage beginning with the myeloblast. The right side shows the lymphocytic lineage beginning with the lymphoblast. The granulocytes and monocytes are formed only in the bone marrow. Lymphocytes and plasma cells are produced mainly in the various lymphogenous tissues, especially the lymph glands, spleen, thymus, tonsils, and various pockets of lymphoid tissue elsewhere in the body, such as in the bone marrow and in Peyer's patches underneath the epithelium in the gut wall. Note: the spleen is a fist-shaped organ in the upper left side of the abdomen, next to the stomach and behind the left lower ribs. It's an important part of the immune system, but one can survive without it. This is because the liver can take over many of the spleen's functions. Thymus. It is located in the upper anterior part of the chest, directly behind the upper sternum and between the lungs. The pinkish grey organ reaches its maximum weight, about 1 ounce, that is 30 grams, during puberty. Thymus, which makes and trains special white blood cells called T lymphocytes or T cells. The T cells help the immune system fight disease and infection. Thymus gland produces most of the T cells before birth. Peyer's patches, PPs, the gut-associated lymphoid tissue, GALT, consists of isolated or aggregated lymphoid follicles forming Peyer's patches. In the Peyer's patches, the lymphocytes reside in the centers of these follicles, where their maturation takes place. T lymphocytes are in the parafollicular zone. The Peyer's patches at their apices contain M cells, that is microfold cells. These are the enterocytes expressing MHC class II molecules. The WBCs formed in the bone marrow are stored in the marrow until they are needed in the circulatory system. Then, when the need arises, various factors cause them to be released. These factors are discussed later. Normally, about 3 times as many WBCs are stored in the marrow as circulate in the entire blood. This quantity represents about a 6-day supply of these cells. The lymphocytes are mostly stored in the various lymphoid tissues, except for a small number that are temporarily being transported in the blood. As shown in the figure genesis of white blood cells, megakaryocytes are also formed in the bone marrow. These megakaryocytes fragment in the bone marrow, and the small fragments known as platelets or thrombocytes then pass into the blood. They are very important in the initiation of blood clotting. So, dear viewers, this is the end of part 1 in the 4-part series on WBCs granulocytes in the Medicine for Anyone in the YouTube channel. Thank you for watching the video.